right, welcome back, traders. Hopefully, you had a wonderful weekend. Something's going on with my YouTube. Let me just double check what's going on here. Second. How's everybody doing? Did you guys have a happy new year? Everyone had a good new year, right? Right. You guys, let's see what's going on here. Okay, there is only one. All right, that's good. All right. Happy New Year. All right. So I think last week, before the new year, everything was kind of still up in the air, looking like shit and stuff like that. And so we did get a little bit of new data here. We have a weekly that is clipping short on Tether. So the market is picking a direction. We were leaning towards that possibility with the RSI already up here for a while. And so it's looking that way. We're going to get follow through here on this move down here for Tether. We're seeing a lot of these altcoins kind of put in some nice rallies off their lows, right? We got a bunch of assets that have, weekly bullish divergence. We've been giving lots of swing trades in the channels here. If you guys are part of the alerts group, you guys can see lots of different trade setups been posted here. All sorts of assets. This particular one made a nice move. Yeah, so I think a lot of these alts are bottoming, are showing signs of bottoming, at least short term here, right? And we want to continue to monitor the Tether chart, right? And so that's really the key point. This was a flag or whatever you want to call it that broke out. And so typically after you get breakouts, you get back tests, and so we want to see where this back test ends up, and that's kind of probably where our topping point will be. And so we want to continue to monitor that. But as you guys can see, even on the open here, after white candles, we get reversals. And so this is going to reverse to the downside, and this is going to cause the crypto market to rally. Beautiful. We're going to get this rally here. We're watching some pretty key levels here for Bitcoin. The key level that I'm really watching is the daily 200-day moving average, which is right around that like $108,000 to $110,000 region. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Okay, well, this was an asset that I had was plotting here. This is the Joe token. This is in one of the Avalanche dexes here, one of the OG dexes. That to me also, obviously this looks pretty equitable down here, right? Yeah, we got the long signal counter trend long signal coming in here. But we're gonna go look at the Bitcoin chart real quick, and let's cover that. So Bitcoin, okay. Right now, if you really look at what's happening here, I have a lot of stuff drawn on this chart that maybe I'm sort of maybe projecting what might happen, and we're going to see how it really plays out. But let's kind of take a look at this on like a high time frame perspective, okay? And so, yeah, I think that I had this drawn specifically like this for a reason. Okay, so we're like butting up right against this long-term trend line that dates back from 2013, okay? And we're coming into it. So if we're going to get reversals here on Tether, that means we're probably going to hold this trend line, which is actually a really amazing thing, all right? And the monthly here giving us an early buy signal, right? Which is good. That's good, all right? The weekly here, crossing the bullish territory here on our squeeze indicator. And we are clipping long here on the weekly chart, just like we were clipping short on the Tether chart, right? So it's the inverse, right? And yes, we do have, it is playing out right now. We do have a weekly RSI bullish divergence on the chart, okay? Very, very nice to see that. A full reset is what looks like we got. And we can also see that our weekly stochastic RSI is starting to cross back up. We are in the oversold territory. The 2-week time frame here also giving us the tick up. So this could be a pretty momentous move. Okay, and even the 3-week is crossing up. Wow, this is going to be a pretty powerful move when we get it. Okay. Now, short term, what I'm really looking at is the bull market support band here around this region, around this $100,000 to $103,000 region. If we can reclaim the bull market support band, then I'd be targeting this level up here around $108,000, which is kind of where we broke down from. Okay. Now, a lot of people are going to see this too, but if you look carefully, if we get stopped right here at this $108,000, $109,000 region, we can construe this as a potential right shoulder of a massive head and shoulders pattern, which is scary, right? But I feel like because we have weekly, 2-week, and 3-week momentum, that's a lot of momentum. We're going to see how this transpires and plays out, right? Like, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. We were expecting a relief rally after this low was put in, okay? I've been talking about it for quite some time, and so I think now is the time we're going to get it. But we will see if it's just a relief rally or it's actually a continuation of a bull market, all right? The other really interesting thing I want to take a look at, okay, is the copper to gold ratio chart, all right? And the copper to gold ratio chart historically has marked the starting of major altcoin rallies, okay? And the last time we got a signal was in June of 2020, okay? The last time we got the copper to gold ratio to give us a signal for the altcoin market was June of 2020. And we just fired one here at the end of the month. All right. Now, this movement up last time took about a year. Okay. So I'm not saying it's going to repeat the same thing. In 2016, it also took about a year. All right. So historically speaking, it takes about a year for the market to actually top out. It could be quicker this time. And the reason why I say it could be quicker this time is because the equities market and the metals have already ran a bunch, okay? And so it's likely that they're going to pull back, right, at some point. It's also likely that the S&P can pull back and the NASDAQ can pull back and all that stuff can happen, right? This is just a ratio chart. So basically, this ratio will climb a lot faster if gold pulls back and copper stays flat and or goes up against it, right? It's just a metric that I'm looking at. It's not an end-all, be-all situation. We also want to continue to monitor the tether chart, right? Because that has more impact specifically for crypto. But this also, interestingly, lines up with market cycle tops for Bitcoin, right? The top here, May of 21, that was the top. Okay, yeah, we pulled back and we attempted a rally here in October, November. That was the double top we made last cycle, right? And in the 2017 rally or 2016 rally, we made a top here in December. And then in January, of 2018 was the top for the altcoins, like right after that. So this is pretty good. Okay. So we just fired it. This is basically telling you, man, we're probably at the lows. Okay. Just something I wanted to talk about. The ETH Bitcoin chart, we talked about this back in April, bottoming out here. The ETH Bitcoin ratio chart still looks good, right? It's just sitting like above neutral here, or right around neutral on the monthly time frame. What really looks good is the quarterly time frame. Okay, the quarterly time frame here is pretty much about to give you a buy signal on the ratio chart. All right, so that to me also looks very interesting. Again, this is just a ratio chart, but if Tether is going to pull back, it just means that ETH is probably going to outperform Bitcoin. Okay, that's what that means. And then you go down the risk curve, right? You want to look at assets that look bullish against ETH. That's going to outperform ETH, and so on. I'm just giving you guys the ideas here, okay? let's look at total 3, excluding stables and Bitcoin. This is essentially your altcoin market, excluding the stable coins. Okay. Your quarterly or 3-month RSI is at 43. This is the buy zone. This is the buy zone for altcoins against Bitcoin ratio chart. Here's your monthly. Your monthly just clipped long. Okay. It's very depressed. It's very, 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 very depressed. Okay. No breakout or anything just yet, but we can see that this has been in a 4-year falling wedge structure, and at the range lows, at or near the range lows. All right. Now, something like this eventually could trade back up to almost 0.9 of a Bitcoin. Right. So in general, you could probably 3x your Bitcoin positions in an altcoin, in a said altcoin. This is the total. So this is including everything. Okay. So on average, I think something like that is possible once this breaks out. Okay. And the total crypto market cap here is the same kind of chart as the Bitcoin chart, but to me, it also looks like a massive rising wedge structure. All right. We're riding alongside the bottom demand line part of it. And yeah, I have something drawn out here. If we do break the all-time highs on the total market cap, the first major Fibonacci extension is right around this $7 to $8 trillion level. All right. Like, I'm not assuming that we're going to just break north out of this rising wedge. We haven't done that in any previous run, so I don't think we're going to probably do that. So I just wanted to kind of cover some of this information here. We have some very interesting developments happening on these charts right now. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves either. We also want to stay grounded and make sure that this isn't just some relief rally here, back up to retest the range high, these range highs up here, and get rejected, and we form a head and shoulder structure, and we just break down, because that is also a possibility. But with the copper to gold ratio chart kind of lining up with altcoins, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards some of these assets are really going to make major moves, right? Anyways, feel free to drop some tickers in the chat, and we'll take them one by one. All right. We're in some active trades right now. We're in the game token. We're in the banker bot token. We're in a couple other lower cap coins that I think have some nice volatility to the upside here for a bit. And we'll look at Crow. Sure. All right. So we've covered this chart many, many times. We're going to redraw this chart because to me, it looks like an ascending broadening formation. If you see it very clearly here, right? So you have this demand line here that's been very well respected along these pump and dump moves, okay? But every single time you come down, you just end up making a higher low. So more accumulation, more accumulation. So I would say the next major move for Crow is probably something along the lines of that. Somewhere in the 37 to 53 cent region on the upside, okay? Right, you have this structure that broke here, right? This was that last cycle it had. So, but it's just been kind of stepping up like that. All right. CAG, we can look at it. Sure. Is that a crypto? Is that a stock or a crypto? Looks like a stock. It's a food company. Interesting. Yeah, very nice. Right here down at the range low. Toe, very nice. Oh, you meant gold. Okay. Yeah, sure. We can look at gold. But anyways, CAG looks interesting right at this range low here. Oversold on the monthly RSI. You could probably take a trade off this low. I would target something like this up here into this mean reversion area at 2150s. This actually doesn't look half bad. Nice find, Toe. Cool. We'll look at gold. Yeah. We'll look at Salonevac, sure. All right, man. So gold's got the weekly bearish divergence here. Very clear. It's likely due for a pullback. Look at the weekly, right? Rejecting bullish control zone here on the weekly on stochastics. You're starting to cross down. Your 2 week, okay, your 2 weeks still ticked up. It's in a hyper bullish uptrend. Okay, so the weekly bearish divergence might underperform on gold. All right. I'm not sitting here trying to call a top or anything, man. Like, I have no idea where gold's really going to top out. But, you know, back to like $4,000 wouldn't surprise me. On the upside move here, 4,800 probably in the cards. So, like, you're basically this 3950 region, this Fibonacci level here, you're above. And so as long as you know, kind of consolidate up here, remain up here, and not like put in some major reversal candles or something, you're still in a major uptrend here, right? So, but yeah, just be aware of the weekly bearish divergence, okay? There will be implications for that, but when you're in major uptrends and you get weekly bearish divergences, they can underperform. Right? If you were in a downtrend and you're getting weekly RSI bearish divergence, you could most certainly bet that it's going to make a strong move to the downside. This could just be a pullback for gold. Okay, it could just be back down to 39.50, make a higher low, consolidate, and then make another leg up. Like, that's what it could be doing. Okay, but at some point, when you lose this long-term trend line here, this uptrend, okay, when you lose that, if you were to backtest it, you could expect gold to come back down to retest, you know, its breakout area. I'm not saying that this is happening now. I'm just giving you an idea of how this goes, okay? So that's what I'd be looking out for on gold. Silver, probably similar things. Yeah. Silver is probably up more than that then. Yeah, silver is going to outperform gold right now. Similar things for silver. Same thing. But silver is in my opinion still lagging behind gold. I think silver has a chance to at least tag its first major fib extension at $90 at some point here. There's going to be some volatility for sure. We had a you had a pullback candle last week, right? But no bearish engulfing candle or anything, just pullback candle. All right, so maybe a bit of consolidation before the next impulse up here on silver. Man, the high time frame on silver looks insane. Look at the yearly candle. How about that? In the 70s, you had multiple yearly candles that were way overbought, just FYI. So this is the major breakthrough candle. At some point this year, I suspect that we will retest $50. Oil, yeah, that is probably because of Venezuela. But oil's been setting up, dude. I've been talking about oil here to pay attention to what oil's doing for a while. Okay, that is just a catalyst for oil price to go up. It's in a massive falling wedge pattern here. All right, no breakout just yet or anything like that. Oil's been setting up down here. It's just been basing around $55 to $57 a barrel. And I would start paying attention to it down here. Okay. I would start paying attention to it. Your weekly RSI is now crossed up. Your 2-week RSI is about to cross up. Okay. And so that's momentum that could be coming into oil here soon. All right. You're just fluttering down here in the neutral zone on the RSI. No movement yet, but pay attention. All right. Polkadot, you want to look at Polkadot? Yeah. Polkadot actually looks pretty good down here. Looks pretty equitable. All right. Yeah, man, pretty much tagging the absolute range lows and candling here. you got this range that you were in for a long period of time. I suspect that you could break back into this structure eventually if we're going to see the alts run here. There's a lot of charts that actually look like this right now. The Phantom chart looks almost identical to the polka dot chart as well. A lot of things look very, very low risk in the altcoin market right now. All right, so look at ICP, Sol, and AVAX. Okay, so Avalanche, I gave a trade alert on the Avalanche in the group. Very nice structure here. It looks like a major bull flag, right? You have this big impulse, and you've just been downsloping, consolidating for like the last, I don't know, year and change. Right back to the demand line. That's a higher low. That's a 2-week time frame. Your 2-week stochastic RSI is ticking up. Okay, it's giving you an idea that momentum could come back into this asset. It's in a channel until it breaks the channel. So I would target the top of the trend line here around this $25 region for now until you actually get a break and back test and you see a bit of consolidation up here. The other thing you might want to really look at that I like to look at a lot is actually Avalanche's market cap chart. Okay, the market cap chart looks a little bit different than the price chart. And if you go to the monthly time frame, which I think you should really look at, it's holding super trend long right now. Okay, came back down to the super trend, wicked into it, and it looks very similar to the price chart. But in my opinion, this is a better outlook as to what the market cap might end up being for Avalanche later on, given some more data, right? But this could be maybe a cup with handle structure. I think it's maybe a little bit too much of a retrace for a cup and handle structure, but yeah, you got a 786 Fibonacci extension retracement on our market cap chart. But I'm seeing on the RSI, I'm seeing this wedge pattern form on the RSI. Okay, that to me is very key. This looks very, very good down here. Okay, and we looked at the Joe token before. The Joe token, which is Avalanche's main DEX token, looks like a massive falling wedge pattern. That's what it looks like. And the weekly RSI has never been this oversold in its history. Yeah, tag 23 on the RSI. Yeah, you made lower lows, but it could end up doing something like this eventually. Eventually, it should go back up to the top of the wedge, but I think for a conservative approach to trading this wedge pattern, anywhere from the 382 to the 618 golden pocket would be what you should be targeting. So anywhere from 30 cents to about 90 cents on Joe token. Huge trade setup. Huge trade setup. Okay. Cool. So that's Avalanche. We'll look at Solana. And the other thing you can really look at is DeFi Llama. You can see the TVL chart. Okay. So Solana ended up breaking its demand line here, its long-term demand line here. But it's holding its horizontal support. So it's still in its range, its horizontal range. So what could end up happening if we do get this upside move, it's very easy. I mean, first you want to target the mid-range, which would be the 160s region. And if we break that and hold above it, we're targeting back to the top of the range, which is 240, 243. Now, if we end up breaking the whole range, well, you just measure the range. It's about 115% measured move. So that would take you to about, well, $500 Solana. Okay. That's it. I was going to make a course just how to range trade, because I think people like overcomplicate stuff on charts a lot. And yeah, okay, you get the wedge patterns and stuff. Those are a little bit trickier to trade because what happens if you don't. This broke a range. So okay, your first target, for example, for Joe token is actually this 14 cent area, right? Because that's where it broke down from. Because there's no other price action to the left. So you have nothing to go by. So you're going to get this mean reversion back to like 14 cents. And then you're going to come back down. Maybe you come back down to retest the low, or maybe you come back down and make a higher low. And then you get the double bottom for the break, right? And then that's when you can actually break the wedge pattern. Okay. And so that's the type of things you want to look at. All right. We're looking left on the chart. Where are you? For example, I'll give you an example of why we took this game token trade. Okay. We'll look at ETH2. So game token was very, very easy. 1, 2 touches off the bottom of the range. 1, 2 touches off the top of the range. We had a short-lived rally here into October, right? But we came back down to the same range low. So it's very easy to take this trade setup because it's very reliably holding this structure, right? A lot of altcoins broke their structures and made new lows. Bad. We can look at Fetch, sure. We can look at ETH. We're going to look at Fetch. All right. So ETH holding up pretty good, right? It actually held its mid-range beautifully. You can see the range on ETH here. The top of the range is 4,700. The bottom of the range here is about $1,000. So from bottom of the range to the top of the range is about a 355% measured move. So if we just extrapolated that, now it doesn't always have to do the whole move, but if it did the whole move, we're looking at a $20,000 ETH. I would target somewhere about halfway. That's like $10,000 ETH, okay? If and when we start making, high time frame closures above the all-time high, all right? And we're going to look at the high time frame. The quarterly chart is something that the stochastics were looking pretty good for here. Okay. Something to just keep in mind. And yeah, we can see that the weekly, you could also maybe see on this chart, it looks interesting. Maybe it's not valid, but it looks like maybe a head and shoulder structure. It maybe looks like a head and shoulder structure. The right shoulder is higher than the left shoulder, so that's good. And your neckline is right around this $3,800 region. You had this range deviation up here. Okay? We'll look at Fetch. Fetch. Okay, Fetch broke its structure here. You can clearly see that. But I am giving a weekly counter trend long here down at the bottom of this range here. So it's still bouncing off of a range, and your next range up here is like to 42 cents. It's very clear on this chart what'll happen when we go back up. Okay, 42 cents is your main resistance right now on Fetch, and you've got this down sloping channel or consolidation structure to the downside here. That you want to be monitoring. Okay, on Fetch. So I would say short term here, 42 cents. A break above that would be a break back above this range. And then you can target, 96 cents and even into this 120 region. And maybe then you get back into the pattern or something to go a lot higher later on. If this is a full-on recovery structure, okay? We don't know what's going to end up happening. We don't. All we know right now is that we're oversold. We're at the bottom of a range. We can trade the range, okay? Cool. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. Make sure you guys smash the like button if you guys haven't done so already, and tick the notification bell so you guys can get the updates here when I post videos, which I haven't done so in a while. I usually just go live on Sunday here at 7 p.m. TKS. We'll take a look at it, sure. Is that a crypto? Is that a stock? TKS. Is it a stock? No idea. Is this like a Chinese stock or something? Anyways, this looks interesting. Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, no problem, dude. Sorry. Yeah, so another great range trading asset right now is actually Tau. Okay, bit tensor tau. Like look how beautiful this is. No break of structure, right? Very, very methodically going in this range, ping-ponging top of the range, bottom of the range. Okay, the last rally that it had was a failed rally up here, but it got pretty close to the top of the range. And you can see we're just bouncing off the bottom of the range. So the target, first target here is like 500 bucks. And if you break back above that, you're targeting the very top of the range, which is like 750. That's very equitable. It's very equitable. And you can see which is really what you really want to see. The volume is receding. Volume receding at the bottom of a structure like that, usually what that means is a major move is coming. Okay? Like a major move is coming. And you can see that on the RSI, it is in the zone to be buying. And that is really, really strong. This is really strong. In my opinion, this is a very strong asset. Okay. Range bound in a crypto market where a lot of these altcoins lost their range lows or broke their structures or whatever. Most of them did that, by the way. This one, however, did not. So it's probably noteworthy. Same with the game token. The game token didn't lose its range. Very strong, right? So the assets that continue to hold their ranges even through drawdowns like that are ones to pay attention to because they're going to probably outperform the rest. All right. You got some meme coins that look good. This Giga Chad one. This one's in a massive falling wedge pattern. Okay, this one broke range, right? Okay. But if the meme coins are going to rally, I mean, this is textbook stuff right here. Like, look at the weekly RSI. You got weekly RSI pretty close to diverging there. It's also in a very equitable spot to take a trade, right? Volume receding in a falling wedge structure. Very nice setup, okay? There's lots of nice trade setups right now, guys. If you're looking for some high-risk, low cappers, this polytrader coin also in a falling wedge. Look at the volume receding here. It's like dead, right? This coin looks dead. But what's going to happen is when the virtuals coin actually rallies, you think Israel will attack Iran now, so the market may pull back? I don't know. I think the market will, or the crypto market's going to go up for a bit. I think this is going to come down, and this is going to backtest its breakout. I don't really pay attention to the news much. I mostly pay attention to the charts, but a news event could do anything. But yeah, we want to also pay attention to the daily range here on Tether. We are approaching the bottom of a range, 5.91%. It's likely that we come down to this range, though. Okay. But the high time frame is telling you that the crypto market's going to go up over the course of the next couple of weeks or months. Where do I think Fetch can pull back? I mean, what, like on a low time frame chart? Like a 4 hour? I don't know, 25 or even back down to 22. I don't think it's coming back down to this double bottom, the bottom part of that range. I would target like 22 cents if it's going to pull back here on this 4 hour. Yeah, this 4 hour is extended, right? Sure. Yeah, like 22 cents region. I'd watch that level, right? You can see you got like a double support here where you broke from. Broke and back tested and rallied. And if you zoom out a bit and you're looking at high time frames and you're swing trading this is a massive squeeze that's developing here. That's going to eventually send this price up to test this 40 cent region. Okay. I don't see why that wouldn't happen. It's very likely that happens later on. Okay. Cool. I think we covered it all. We got 7 people on tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Hopefully it's informative. You guys are enjoying it and you're getting some value here. I took a trade on this coin here too, ESX. This is I don't know, it's like a RWA real estate platform or something. Looks interesting. It's got some nice 3-day bullish divergence there. That's probably going to materialize into something. Again, maybe another falling wedge structure. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Clanker. That was one of the first ones that I gave. This one also in a clear range, very, very clear range below the daily 200-day moving average. Putting in a slightly higher low than this low. Beautiful, right? Downsloping consolidation structure. Broke it, right? Very nice. Channel, wedge, whatever you want to call this. The target's the top of the range. Or at least to the daily 200-day moving average was around $45 conservatively. Okay, but if you took the entry or you started, taking your entry around this $30 level and you caught this dip here and added to your position at 27, nice. You're still looking at about a 30% move to the upside. But I think ultimately this will resolve a lot higher. Because look at your 3-day. Your 3-day momentum here has lots of momentum to run. Okay, and swing trading this, RSIs above 70 is when you really want to be taking profits on stuff, and you're nowhere near that right now. So this has got room to run, and the volumes receded, and it broke on a low volume move right now. So it's just starting to break. Okay, and like I said before, the range is very reliable. It's very, very reliable. Okay, I think in this type of market environment, these are the best assets to trade because it's reliable. You can rely on a range until it loses a range. That's it. That's all I have to say. Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of low cap coins that look like they're gonna do something crazy off their lows here in the shorter term. I think the blue chip coins like your Link and your Sui, Ton was looking really fantastic down here at the bottom of a channel. Very nice. You had weekly RSI bullish divergence here that's playing out. Okay, you're coming into your RSI resistance trend line here. Okay, but very nice, right? Reversal. I would be targeting this 270 region potentially where you broke down from. Okay, you have an area right here on this 192 level, like the bull market support band on the weekly is right around this 216 region. Okay, you might see a little bit of resistance there, but on the high time frame, I'd be looking at this like 270 to 280 region. And if you really break this downtrend here, you're talking about probably reclaiming this range and going to the midline or even up to the top of the range eventually. This could take some time, okay? This could take some months to do that. You could also just rally up to here and come back down and retest the low again before you actually break. Kind of like you did here. You rallied up to this range high. You went sideways. You ran out of momentum, and you came back down and retested, made a double bottom, came back up again, and then consolidated at a higher price. And then you got the break, right? And so that's kind of the structure. I think that this is maybe emulating something like that, and just kind of got to monitor that stuff. That's it. Right? Your 2-week momentum here just crossing up. Looks very nice. 2-week clipping long at the bottom here. Very good. All right, there's lots of assets right now that look pretty equitable for long positions. All right. You know, SUI, same kind of thing. Right at the bottom of a channel. Again, with the weekly RSI, bullish divergence. Very nice. Very, very nice. Across the board, even Tron looks good up here. By the way, Tron is this asset just doesn't dump, dude. Like Bitcoin dropped like 38% or something. This thing dropped 26%. This asset outperforms Bitcoin. Just FYI. You know what? Let's look at Tron versus the Bitcoin chart. I'm curious about that. That's very interesting to me. That this thing doesn't really underperform Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah, this whole cycle since 2022, this looks a lot better than most. This is in an uptrend against Bitcoin. Look at it. It's in an uptrend since May of 24. And it's just coiling up. Okay, you're at or near the top of a range. But you can't sit here and tell me that this is bad. This actually is very good. This is very good. It's up 100% against Bitcoin since June of 24. What assets doing that? What's BNB look like against Bitcoin? Similar, but not as strong as Tron. Not as strong as Tron. But BNB is up almost 70% against Bitcoin since July of last year. But yeah, I mean, this chart here is insane. BNB has gone on quite a move against Bitcoin. So I understand why BNB is so strong, because people see this chart and they're like, well, I don't even need to own Bitcoin. I could just own BNB. It's going to outperform Bitcoin. Well, here you go. This is why. This is why. And really, it's just kind of skirting along the channel here. This might continue to outperform Bitcoin. The quarterly stochastics here are looking insane, actually. Very, very nice. Very nice. BNB. Cool. Well, anything else you guys want to take a gander at tonight? Just drop it in the channel. Virtuals here looking decent. Yeah, very nice pennant here, setting up here on virtuals with the 1, 2, 3 along the upsloping demand line, and you can clearly see the downsloping resistance on this pennant structure. Looks insane, actually. It's in a big squeeze on the 2-week time frame here and the weekly time frame. Clipping long on the weekly right now. Cool. All right, that's all I got. Just watch the range low there on Tether for your pullbacks on your coins. High time frame, I don't think you have anything really to worry about until about 5.83 or 5.85%, which is the bottom of this range. And then maybe if we go to like the daily time frame here, yeah, but like around this 5.6 to 5.86 regions, if you're day trading or even if you're swing trading, to take some profit, okay? Because we don't know if this is just going to hold there and do one of these and then it's just going to break up, okay? We don't know that it's going to happen like that. It can happen like that. It's in a range until it breaks a range, right? Just like we were just talking about when alt season. Yeah, great question, man. I think, like I said before, the copper to gold ratio chart is giving you a clue. It's giving you a clue that we're setting up for it. Okay, we're setting up for it. Historically, every single time we've got these signals like this, we've set up for major rallies in crypto. Historically. So if history repeats itself or rhymes, I think that's what we're setting up for. All right. That's it. That's all I got. So accumulate your blue chips. Be cognizant of some of the higher beta plays potentially, because those can really outperform the blue chips. And stick to the assets that have been performing, right? Like the AI coins, the meme coins, the RWA tokens. Those all perform, even in not an aggressive bull market situation. Okay. Chili's, for example, this thing hasn't done anything in 4 years, dude. But look what this structure is forming right now. This is not like a weekly. This is like a monthly setup on Chili's. And look at the squeeze that it's in on the monthly chart. Absolutely insane. Okay. It could very well do something like it did here back in 21 when it breaks out. It could be explosive like that. Like I said, it could rhyme or repeat. This type of structure, this type of compression happening on this chart, it's been compressing for 4 years, guys. All right. So you could really see an explosive move out of this thing. So maybe add this one to your watch list. Okay. Not a major mover until it actually starts breaking out, but just pay attention to it. I think it's worth noting. It's in the buy zone on the monthly chart. All right. That's really all I got. I'm going to probably just continue to range trade a lot of these assets until they break ranges and back test and do all that fun stuff. GOAT token. You guys remember this one? I think it's probably better on Dex Screener. So the GOAT token made a massive run in the early part of this cycle in October of 24. I haven't charted this in a while, clearly. But yeah. What? Back to the bottom of the range and just reclaimed it. There you go. Reclaiming the range. Probably something to also pay attention to. And if you're into this type of trade setup, this just looks like a major consolidation that is about to resolve. Looks pretty crazy. Hasn't broke the channel yet or anything like that, but if we're going to see upside, the volume is receded for a major breakout move that's potentially coming here for this GOAT token. All right. When macro bottom. Macro bottom for what? Equities? Altcoins? Bitcoin? I don't know. That's kind of a broad question. Yeah, so the equities market is obviously getting up there. It's a little scary. Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's put in a local bottom for now. That's what I think is going on here. Okay. It's clearly found a base. It's been making higher lows. We're going to go test these range highs. This $93,000 level, $94,000 level, this supply zone here is going to be tested here soon, probably sometime this week. And we're going to see what ends up happening here. We discussed movements potentially up to this $108,000 region. We would obviously we want that to break and reclaim. If not, we're looking at like a head and shoulders type of structure. And that wouldn't be something good to see. Okay, because then we could come back down and break and test this neckline, and we don't want that. Here, Gabe, yeah, he's upstairs. Yeah, we can look at wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain. Sure. I think wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain is looking actually decent off this range low here. It's still in its long-term channel. I have something drawn here. I don't know if that's going to play out, but that'd be nice. Yeah, it looks like potentially putting in double bottom on the high time frame here. Holding its channel here very nicely. It's coiling here on the 3-day RSI. You can see this coiling happening down here. I think a break on wrapped Bitcoin is around the corner. Very, very soon. Very soon. You get the squeeze going on here on the 3-day time frame. Looks good. And the target for something like this, if it starts to break above like 300s and break it back above the bull market support band here on a 3-day chart, is your neckline. Your neckline's at $1,000, right? Because this would be a double bottom type of formation, and your neckline is right around $1,000. For it to be like a confirmed double bottom, you'd actually need to break above $1,000. And yeah, we covered oil futures, but we can look at it again. Oil hasn't really moved just yet. We were all talking about it earlier, how it's been setting up on the chart. It's in a falling wedge type of structure. It's sitting right at a range low, and it's probably gearing up for a move here shortly. It has crossed up on the weekly chart. Okay. So at any moment in time, we could see oil spike. $68 would probably be the target short term here. That's what I'd be targeting on oil right now. And high time frame monthly isn't really giving us too much information just yet. No cross up on the monthly yet. We just covered BNB like a million times. We looked at it versus Bitcoin. We looked at it versus the dollar. We were just talking about it. But yeah, BNB looks good, man. BNB looks good. So you did breach this channel that I had drawn here. I don't know how valid it is. Yeah, maybe it's not. But it looks a lot like Tron. So BNB, the target right now is back to $1,200 on a break above these levels. It's very strong, obviously. Stronger than Bitcoin right now. BNB only, did like a 25% drawdown or something? Okay, BNB dropped a lot more than Tron. Tron only pulled back 26%, just FYI. I'm getting faked out. The weekly time frame is a weekly bullish divergence that's going to play out. High time frame monthly chart. The bearish divergence has already played out. The bearish divergence has already played out on the monthly time frame, and we've now bounced here at 55 on the RSI, which is the bullish control zone on the monthly chart. And yeah, this quarterly RSI has pulled back, right? We're still here, 67 on the RSI on the quarterly chart, but that's kind of really too high time for Bitcoin. I would probably be looking at like the weekly. So the weekly here is at the low. We've now formed bullish divergence on the weekly, which is what's going to catalyze this next move up. Okay. Looks good on the weekly chart here. All right, that should give us this push up. Like I said before, I'm targeting this 107 region, ultimately 108 region, the top of this range here where we broke down from. And the weekly Gaussian channel is still green for now. The 5-day is also still green, which is important. Back in 21, after we lost the median, you could see that it flipped red after we had this relief rally. So if we don't flip red, we're not repeating something like this. Okay. Something to take note of. And the other thing to really take note of, which I covered earlier, Arash, was the copper to gold ratio chart. All right. Every single time we've printed longs on the copper to gold ratio, we've seen major rallies in crypto afterwards. Okay. This whole move took about a year. This whole move took about a year. I don't know if it's going to take the full year, but well, if history repeats itself, it probably takes about that. About that. So see how that plays out. And then, of course, just pay attention to the tether chart, all right? Because that is more price sensitive than looking at a ratio chart of copper to gold. But it's a good reference point. It's a good reference point. And the dollar index looks just like a massive rising wedge. And if we go to like high time frames, looks like it's about to lose more momentum and go down. That's what it looks like. Might bounce a little here, whatever. Yeah, it's getting rejected at this 100 region right now. My signals are short. It is below the Kijun line, which is around 102. So if the dollar starts reclaiming 102, we know we're probably in some trouble. Okay. For now, I think we're okay. And even your yearly candle opened red. And the yearly stochastic RSI is crossing down on the dollar. I realize that's a very, very high time frame, but that should give you a clue that this could take some months to really break down further. But yeah, this is a very critical spot here for the dollar. If this loses this area, we're going to be looking at like the 90 level on the dollar, which would make sense if we're going to see risk assets make blow off tops and crazy euphoria and do all that fun stuff we want to see. That's pretty much it though, guys. We'll keep you guys tuned in and just pay attention to the tether chart. That's it. All right. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful week. And I want to wish everyone a happy new year. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Hey everyone, you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. You go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profit Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day, you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts, and that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the charts.